we're going to talk this week about angels, higher beings, ETs, and just generally how we work, how we interact with them, as some of our stories that we've got to do with them as well. So we was having a little chat before we come online, just telling each other about our little stories as it goes on. I think that we start with the ones when we first decided to do this work, and then our first connections with them. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
No, you start.
Okay, right. My first interaction with an angel or a higher being was when I lived in my flat in Hornchurch. And I'd already been doing this work to a degree. I worked with two other ladies called Debbie and Jackie. And we used to call ourselves like the Three Charlie's Angels, mucking about. We always used to take pictures of us doing all this sort of stuff. Anyway, one of them came round to see me, and she was coming around to chat to me about something. But it didn't quite go as planned, and she ended up going home. She had to leave early. And now when you just sit there thinking, oh, bloody hell. So once I wanted it to be about me, do you know what I mean? I wanted like someone to chat to me and see if I was all right. Anyway, it was getting on a bit, but it wasn't dark. I'd pulled the curtains and we hadn't been drinking or anything like that. And I was just sitting there on the sofa. I had really big windows, a bit like the big windows here. And all of a sudden this being appeared. It had blonde hair down to about here. And I couldn't really tell if it was a male or female. It had like androgynous features, really big blue eyes, and it was really tall. Didn't have wings or anything. I just could see like a body type shape. I was just looking at it thinking, oh my God, like, is this for real? Have I really seen this? I just kept looking at it, and I'm talking to myself at the same time, thinking, like, this being just appeared in my living room. I just couldn't believe it. And it was there for about, I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, then it disappeared. I'm just sitting there in shock. And I'm just thinking, but what came with it was this overwhelming feeling, which was more for me to try and get my head around, was just this feeling that come with it. And it was really quite emotional. And I felt, every time I thought about it for a good few months after that, I used to feel a bit emotional. But the thing is, what happened the night before, I was asleep and I woke up in the night and I thought I see this being over me with red hair, but the same type of feature. And I just thought, oh, I'm dreaming. I took no notice. So obviously they thought, we already tried once and she's ignored us, so we'll do it again. So I've said there's a big being. And I just thought about it and I just thought to myself, that must have come for a reason. Perhaps I really need to step into what I'm supposed to be doing here. So that's when I decided to give up my job. And then not long after that, I sold my flat. And that's what sort of put me on the journey of me doing what I've been doing. And that's like nearly 30 years ago. So that was the only time I saw one. But I felt them since, but that was the only time that I saw one. So that's what started me off thinking.
That was Archangel Michael. I'm getting the feeling that was Archangel Michael. Or did you?
Really, I didn't know. I didn't even then think to ask who it was. I just was in shock, really. I mean, to this day, I can see the face. I could actually paint it. I could draw it. Yeah. That's how clear it was. Yeah. More astounding was the feelings that came in with it, the energy. They're really powerful, aren't they? That energy that comes in. Yeah. So that started me off my journey, and I never really. I always thought of it over the years, but I never really thought like, who is it? Why did they come to me? I just thought, well, they must have come to me because they think it's time for me to get on and fully do this. But it's only like, I mean, there's another story to this with Zaki, that might be my Tyrian guide. I then thought when she come in that the energy was quite similar. So whether she was an angel or whether the angel was a higher being, I don't really know. A similar sort of energy.
I think that was Archangel Michael, though, because he's actually here. He's in the room today. I've had to spray the room with his spray, and I've just got a card. So, and out of all, you've seen how many packs of cards I've got on the table today. And I've got them. I've got more than that, but got those angel ones out because I thought we might do a little card or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But while you was,
it was more for us. That's what I said to you at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that you had one for us. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I do work with him a lot. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's, I've got the feeling because
that's who you think it was.
Yeah. Because I had an encounter recently, and how you've explained how he looked, that's how he looked to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't. I mean, when I first started doing this, I didn't think that angels would just appear to people.
No, me.
Appear. It's really
Tracie, you know what I'm like. I'll just go, oh, okay then. Is that what it is? It's when it takes you by surprise. I mean, I always get like a rabbit caught in the headlights with it because you know, did that really happen? And it does. It has really happened. But it's just that you feel so blessed when they turn up that. It's the. I mean, not when I was younger, I didn't feel blessed because I didn't know what it was. But now it's that feeling of awe. You just can't get over it, can you?
Yeah.
Probably had
I know, because of that, I started doing this properly, went into it full time and all that, because I thought there had to be a reason. Those things do not turn up, beings do not turn up for no reason. So, I haven't really looked back. Yeah. So it makes you wonder, like, if, like, when we incarnate into this lifetime, like that, and they're waiting for us to reach a certain stage.
Yeah.
To think,
well,
like,
I did
to be ready to do it.
With Mary Lou about when we used to sit in here on a Monday, because we used to do the podcast about writing the book, and then it all got extended into other things. And I used to channel the you know, that's how you do it, and you channel the information. I don't know that stuff. I really don't. So this day I channeled, it was whoever had come through, I can't even remember. But the feeling that came over that was really so, and the words was so strong, it was that they can't do the work without us. And it was so obvious that the energy that our vibration has to be quite high for them to meet it. So they use, I don't know if it's still on my website, but they have to use that. They use that vibration that we send up, and that's how they do their work. And it absolutely shook my roots that day, because I think, you know, in my small brained head, thinking, well, they come down here for us to use their energy, but it's a two-way street. If you don't raise your vibration, they can't meet you. And how lovely is that? I mean, I seriously, I'm of the old, I don't know, I'm a lot older than you, and I've probably been doing it a lot longer than you, but it never stops fascinating me what you learn from it. Because I used to channel this stuff to Mary Lou, because she was sitting in the room, and we was awestruck with it. Because the word, I don't remember the words, but the words were so poignant that is what they want us to do, to raise our vibration, to meet them. So the world will be a better place. So that's
well, we know we do that when we connect to spirit, don't we? We know that we have to raise our vibration to get onto that level, to connect with everybody, like loved ones or anyone in spirit. But you don't automatically think you have to lift it higher to connect to the angels here, or the higher beings that come in. Yeah, it's quite a fascinating subject.
So all of it. I mean, I never ever stop being in awe of what comes through, what happens. It just, I love it. I think it's what makes me tick, because it's so, everything about it is so fascinating.
funny, someone said that to me the other day. They just said that your whole thing is just your work, isn't it? He goes, that's what you get excited about. That's what you do all the time. I said, yeah, fair enough. I do actually do work a lot, because it just makes you, I don't know, you just don't feel right if you don't do it. Do you know what I mean? You can have a couple of days off or whatever, but you sort of miss it, don't you? Don't go back into doing it. It's that feeling you get from it.
Charlie, and obviously Charlie he's not in this, but he is of it, because he has got that lovely energy, but he don't get it, he don't see it, he don't do it. And he always says to me, you know, you don't have to do that work, don't you? You know, you've got to an age where you're not supposed to be really working, I suppose. But I don't know what I'd be without it.
Yeah, exactly. What would you do?
Yeah, it's not, for me, I suppose it's more, I don't know, it's always been there. So when you see somebody else get better for doing it, or you do a meditation and somebody actually gets a message and they're elated, they get their own message, they get their own healing, why wouldn't you want to do it? You know, I couldn't imagine any part of my life without it.
Yeah.
And I do think
now, isn't it?
it was Stuart's gift.
Around.
And I do it because I do believe it was Stuart's gift to me. Because I didn't work it before Stu passed. I did. You do it in your own little way, don't you? You know, you help people out, you cuddle a baby, it goes to sleep, and you go, oh, that's good. Whatever. You know, it's all
the animals,
it all happens anyway, but it's when you take that step to really decide that this is what I'm going to do with it. Yeah. You have to do the deciding, but you know, if spirit want to use you, they make it happen. And I think that's what it was really for me. It's when I did go looking when Stu passed, and because I needed to make sense of it. So people probably are saying this because there'll be somebody on there watching this. Yeah,
to relate to it.
To make sense of it. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, but I find that when I talk to a lot of people that do this sort of work, there does seem to be something in their life that sets them on that path. It's usually they lost someone, or something tragic happens, you know, and they just want answers. They want to check they're all right. They want to do, and that's why I always found it a bit weird with me. I didn't have any of that. I just had this being appear, and then I went and worked. I didn't have a loss or a bereavement or anything that triggered it. No. I just thought I must just need to do it.
But
I do know
you was in that place to decide, I'm just going to do it. Maybe I wasn't ever, because you think, I had my kids and I had the other, like Sherry and Laurie, they grew up with us. There was a lot of kids. I had a lot of jobs. And it was about providing for the family, really. That's probably where I was. Full-time job, stressful job. Weren't stressful, but it was they all came with their own problems. So there was always a lot going on in my life, always. And my house, you know, you must remember, my house was always full up with people. It was never quiet. So maybe if I needed to get on that path, it was probably something that needed to change.
That's what happens. I think that generally does happen with people. Like I say, that there is something like major happens, and they go on that path, seeking, searching, or embracing it if they've already got it going on there. I'm fully into it.
I suppose because it always happened around me. Right from tiny, it happened around me. So it was nothing any different. And I don't mean that as being, oh, look, they chose. I don't mean that. It was there all the time. And because it was there all the time, it wasn't being looked at as a gift.
It wasn't there. Really. it. Do you remember? I remember being younger, not thinking it was a gift at all. I think it was a hindrance going on. Did I tell you about the animals that live under my bed?
No.
When we lived in our house in Chadwell, that house was haunted. And I used to run and jump every night from my bedroom door onto my bed because I used to sit in bed and see all these animals. So I used to think they lived under my bed. So I would never put my foot on the floor. So I felt like I was tortured with it from a really early age of it all coming in. And what with Grandad talking to me, thinking God's talking to me all the time, and getting blank stares of everybody else. So I was like, I'm losing the plot here.
But an interesting, Trace, you never spoke to me about it. The only one that got it was me, and I would have understood it.
Yeah.
And so you had to go through all that to get to a place with it.
Yeah. We couldn't tell my parents because they were a bit nervous of it, because it's in our family. Stuff used to happen to them, didn't it? They used to get the knocking, all of that. So that used to unnerve them. So me saying that things to them, they used just to think, oh my God, like, don't talk about it. This is what I think. I never actually asked them. I will ask them, but don't talk about it in case like it starts again, like we start getting the knocking and all of that. So I think they were just scared.
I think your dad used to get the knocking on his headboard.
He did, yeah.
We used to talk about it, but nobody come up with a solution. You know, obviously my dad might have known or thought why he knew, but I think that house, you know, that whether it was haunted or whether the knocking is, come on, wake up.
Yeah, I think that's quite intuitive. Yeah, I do think he is.
Because the dad, you know, Granddad died suddenly. He was here one minute, gone the next. And I just had Darren, I hadn't long had him. And your dad came over. But on his way to work that morning, he didn't know that Granddad was dead because Nanny wouldn't say.
Yeah.
He wouldn't tell any of us. He got the tapping on the shoulder while he was driving. Has he told you that?
Yeah, frightened the life out of him while he was driving along. So it was obviously Granddad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, like, to stop the shock, you know, maybe, because it is a shock, isn't it? You know, she didn't want any of us to know the night before. So he got that. I didn't get it. Maybe that was because I just had Darren.
Yeah, it's funny what comes in, isn't it?
And he's obviously got it, hasn't he?
I think so, yeah. I think he uses it differently. I think he uses his intuition differently to how we do it.
Yeah.
Because he has a sense of knowing about stuff, because sometimes he goes, I know what goes on. Yeah, he probably does. But like they say to me, we don't bother telling you, you probably already know. I was like, not really. I just don't go around literally like knowing everybody's stuff unless I want to. You don't, do you?
Uncle Alan said to me, didn't he, that time at that party when you weren't there? So do you and Tracy need a telephone to talk?
I know. So we just need to think about each other if we want to talk.
I mean, oh God. Anyway, that's their stuff.
Yeah, but this is how people see stuff like this when they don't do it, isn't it? They don't get it at all. So yeah, it's fascinating.
They look at you like, well, obviously we are, you know, we're not different to everybody else. It's just everybody else hasn't done it or got there yet.
Or caught up, yeah.
So for him, it was probably like really weird.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't get his head round it. And you won't unless you look into it, will you?
Yeah. Getting the consciousness, start opening it up.
Yeah.
But then you open up to all sorts of things, don't you, as well?
Yeah.
I think that's what people are scared of. It's like, what else is going to come with it?
Yeah.
If you do
I haven't had any, I mean, I had lots of stuff, but not anything detrimental or frightening. Well, it's a little bit unnerving sometimes, so clear, but it's, oh my God, that was amazing. But I've not seen any, apart from when I was tiny and I thought that dark figure was something else.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid, it is a bit more scary, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you said to me earlier, what was your first thought of the angels? Well, I could draw that room. I was about 18 months old. I could, even now, I can see that room. I'm standing in the cot, really crying, because I had all these beings, which I know now were angels. I didn't know what they were doing there.
Yeah.
I thought that my mum had gone away and left me with these beings, which she probably should have loved to do. But it was.
She might be listening.
Yes, I'll get a dig in a minute. So it, you know, it's that what scares you when you, because I was little, I didn't know what it was. I knew they weren't the normal people that woke me up or picked me up and fed me.
Yeah, yeah.
But this was for obviously a different reason, because they there was no for being that young. You can remember, I can really remember. There was no gap between any of them. They was all just there in front of me. So maybe they were there anyway, and I just woke up with a jump because my mother had gone out and left me. So there you go. Anyway.
Yeah, but it does make you wonder, like when you decide to reincarnate and you probably, when you go over into, well, some call it heaven, wherever it is you go, that all of these beings are over there.
Yeah.
So do you orchestrate with everybody over there? I'm going to come back and you're going to look after me and you're going to be my guide and you're going to channel and you're going to heal, and all these beings and people and all that come in. It's like it must have already been agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so they're like watching and waiting.
Trace, I've actually asked a question. I've asked that question and they show me a table. There's always a table, and that all these, we're all sitting around the table, and each person decides what role they're going to take. I find it, I mean, that, you know, for me was amazing to see that. So you can, and that was literally, I didn't, this was about Stuart, I suppose, really. That's what I wanted to know. But I expect and he has said to me, I went home so you'd wake up. He has said that to me.
Yeah, okay.
So that's probably why I asked that question, and that's what they showed me.
Yeah.
So all that, you know, even like the people you don't get on with in the family, obviously they did that role to make us look at them differently.
Oh, contracts.
Work on it. Yeah, it is.
Your contracts.
Always the ones that are the biggest, you know, the biggest problem, the biggest whatever it is, are the people that you learn the most from. Because you have to work it.
Yeah. And you have to take the lessons from it. And if you don't take the lessons from it, you don't learn anything, and then it gets repeated and you have to come back and do it all again. I was saying to someone recently about this, it probably would have been your best mate, your biggest fan, whoever. They're the ones that have to come back and agree to be your worst enemy in this lifetime. Because not everyone wants to sign up for that stuff. So you would have had that agreement between them, you know, oh, thanks, mate, you know, whatever. And they probably do a really good job.
Yeah.
As people can all probably relate to.
List them. I can list the ones that have done a really good job on me.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've learned the thing, the lesson I learned from that really is I stop and think, how am I treating somebody else now? And because would I want to be treated like that? Or would they want to be treated like that by me? So that is my awareness of that now. And do you know those people, Trace, that have treated me the worst, or for all of the stuff that's happened, I've got to a stage where I thank them, because I live in a much nicer environment and do lovely work with lovely people that I would not have probably done if I'd have stayed where I was.
Yeah.
So out of all that, you know, they don't know this, do they? Not while they're here, they don't know it. I might tell them one day,
Yeah, when you meet them over there.
Could you imagine their face if you told them? That wasn't the idea.
Yeah, but when you learn the lesson and get the awareness, then you don't create that karma anymore, do you?
No.
You step into the role that you're meant to have and meant to play, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's relevant what they've done. But I think the problem while we do the work we do is a lot of people can't get past the feelings and the emotions and then question, like, why would I choose that? Well, when you're up there floating about in your cloud, it seems like a good idea. It seems like a good idea. Let's tick those boxes. I can do that. Come back down here and think, what the hell have what have I done? Why I couldn't have signed up for this? Because it's brutal down here, isn't it? This dense energy, feelings, all emotions get in the way and they can't deal with stuff. That's what I come in, isn't it, to do our type of work to help with that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's
but,
so and we look at that. Me and you haven't talked this stuff, have we? We haven't talked like this.
No.
We know what we're talking about. We know what we mean, because the rest of the people don't know what's happened. But so we both know what we're talking about here, but we've never discussed being over in spirit and getting what you get and signing up for it. Because honestly, I do think, I hope this is my last life, because I don't know this lot again. Yeah. But maybe it's because it is. I think I've been told it's my last life. Maybe that's why it's a biggie.
Yeah. Well, you ticked all the boxes, didn't you, this time round? You'll have all of it.
And some. But that's the amount of people that walk through this door, and they tell me stuff, and most of it I've witnessed. Yeah. And that's obviously the reason why I witnessed it. So I'm never shocked at the stories. Yeah. And you can't judge the people, because half the things I've bloody done it myself, or been there, or felt that emotion. So it's part of the work as well. Yeah,
I was just going to say that. We probably agreed to go through all those experiences to get to this place, to be able to relate and resonate with people on a level and not judge as well. There's never any judgment with what we do. It is what it is, but all right, we help you sort it.
You look at them, my heart goes out to them, whatever it is, because you think, oh, blimey, I've walked those shoes. I've walked in those shoes for a bit, not long, but long enough. So you feel it, don't you, for them? Yeah. So that's a
thing, isn't it? Clearing that energy that comes in as well with doing the work we do. Someone asked me that yesterday. After I did my session yesterday, I walked for about 7 miles to try and
get rid of.
Yeah, it was.
That's why I went out this morning, because I needed to get the energy of yesterday, of that healing, off of me, just to start afresh today and talk to you.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I don't know if everyone gets that. Maybe some of the people that watch this will get it, because then we'll probably do some of it. But clearing that energy is so important, isn't it? To come back fresh and step up again the next day.
Yeah. I don't know if I can tell you a story about the psychic. I had a psychic attack.
Yeah.
And that really it wasn't the girl's fault. She was young. She wanted what happens is they meet you and they think, oh, everything's rosy. I want to do that. But they forget that you've already, I'm the age I am, I've had a lot of years of it, having stuff happen. And that night, because I thought I'd done the protection, I thought I'd looked after my energy. I got out of the bed because the room was spinning. I'd had a drink. I don't drink. I got in the shower room, laid on the floor. I couldn't get off the floor. And the next day, because I do shout at my mob, because I think, why are they doing this to me again? I just want to get on with my job and do what I do. So I come in here in my best East End language. I'll tell them, oh, the arms are flying.
Yeah, that's the one,
Off you go. I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah, I do the same.
Laurie had bought me a pack of cards. for my birthday. It was near my birthday, and they fell off that shelf, landed on the floor, and the card that fell out was God's armour.
Yeah.
And they went, this is, and I heard them as loud as, this is what you do. So while I was doing that, with the arms are flying and telling them to do all that, they put it on. I went, oh, okay then. I didn't know there was a thing called God's armour. I mean, all the years, I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah, I think you told me that before. Yeah, I've got a different way of doing mine, but I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, and that's what they gave me. So when that happens, you know, like if you're going to carry on dealing with people like that, this is what you, more or less, this is what you do. So I do it every day. Yeah,
I do my stuff every day. But it has happened a couple of times, but I have sent it back. Yeah, have it back with loops on.
Oh, well, it's funny. We all have our own, but
I just think, how dare you? Like, I'm busy here. Don't be
I know, and that's what upset me. I thought, I've spent the whole day, more or less, that Sunday in bed, feeling ill, and it was just fascinating because I don't really use that pack of cards. They're sitting up there. They're called the power cards.
Yeah.
And I bought them. I ordered them, but she'd give me the money, so she bought them for me.
Yeah.
But who'd have thought out of that pack of cards? And it's a
one needed,
a knight standing there in armour, and they went, and it was, you know, it laid on the floor. I thought, it, and the word underneath the card is protection.
Yeah.
You know? So don't matter how old you get.
Yeah, you've got to do
There's always another bloody lesson comes along.
Yeah. It's a bit funny, when one of my places that I lived, I woke up one night and I had this big, looked like, it was a big black figure and it looked like it had armour on. It was massive and couldn't see anything, just a big black figure with armour on. And, you know, my immediate thought was, oh my God, like, what is that? And then I thought, calm yourself down. I calmed myself down and I realised it wasn't a bad thing. So once I relaxed and tuned in, it was my gatekeeper.
Wow.
My gatekeeper. So sometimes I see like this random stuff. It's not random, but you know what I mean. And it'll only happen the once.
Yeah.
But I actually I saw it
and I thought,
take the fear away and then actually feel the feel and like, is it a bad thing? And it wasn't a bad thing. So while you were standing there in my room at that time, maybe someone was trying to send something or whatever, and he was protecting me.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen my gatekeeper, although Jack, you know, my lovely mate Jack, left here one day and they have to drive down that way, turn around and come back. And she said, as I come back, I sort of slowed down because she said, I noticed that Charlie's always at the front of your house. He always greets people when they come in, or he's out there busying himself waiting for somebody to come. And she said, I've never seen this before. She said, I saw him as your gatekeeper. And I don't see it, you know, I didn't see it like that, but it sort of makes sense, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I don't know what I'll have to ask her to tell me what she actually saw, but she said, I had to slow the car down and drive past slowly to look. And she said, it made perfect sense. She said, I've just got it in that instant. And you talking about Charlie's Angels, that's what they call him. All the girls call themselves angels and they all love him, don't they? Because he makes tea. Yeah. That's what they call him, Charlie's Angels.
Oh, yes.
So both of us have got that. That's interesting, isn't it?
The only negative thing I can say out of doing all of this is once I was woken up in the night with someone trying to strangle me.
I've had that, Trace.
Yeah. And you know, they like a bit of fear, don't they? When you wake up, you got those hands around your neck and you can feel that weight on top of you. And then I remember they love a bit of fear, so they just start laughing, bring the angels in, and you're like, you're not good enough, mate. You need to do one, and I do all this talking in my head, and it disappeared. But it does leave you reeling, though, doesn't it? That's the only
does.
time I can say that I've had anything. Because somebody asked me this the other day, actually, and I couldn't think of it, but then that come to mind, and I thought, yeah, just the once.
Yeah, me, just the once. We was in Huxley Road in Leighton, and Darren always said, "There's a man in my bedroom." He always said it. I never saw it, and I used to think, "Oh, it's Grandad," because he didn't know Grandad, did he? He passed that year. So I didn't see it, but I assumed it was until I slept in that room with him, and that's the night I felt the edge around the neck.
Yeah.
I did the same. You've got to do one now because you've got. And I don't know if he never said anything after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably had to witness it.
Yeah.
And obviously it wasn't Granddad.
No.
It's somebody that come with the house.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know where mine come from. Just come in, I think. Just happened one day. And I'd lived in that place for 10 years. I hadn't had anything else of that nature happen.
So a lot of that sometimes is somebody sending stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't worry about it now.
I
think,
no.
No.
I don't even think about it.
No.
Because I think if you do your protection,
yeah,
you're happy about what you do about your energy. And even if somebody's funny enough, my mate Donna said, "Somebody been sending you nasty stuff?" And I said, "Yeah." And I gave her 2 names, and she went, "You're dead right." And I knew it. I clocked it.
You pick it up, yeah, you do.
And I haven't done anything with it. I just think, well, that's your stuff. And I suppose somewhere in me it's gone, well, I'll send it back to you then.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do, why do people do that? Because they're jealous.
Yeah, probably jealous about something they're doing or whatever. Don't really know. But yeah, you always get the name, don't you? You always get it anyway.
And I just asked her, I said, when she said to me, someone sent it, and I gave her 2 names, she went, "Yeah, that's right." I went, "Oops, okay then."
Yeah. But I mean, I talk a lot about frequency with my people. So I just go up a notch and it can't touch me because they can't get, they probably can't get to the same frequency we work on because we work, which our next subject is higher beings.
Yeah.
So we worked with them.
Yeah.
So I don't know about yours, but my one, she's fairly recent, and that came about from something we did together, but we'll talk about that in another time, how that came about. But she's very protective, and I get it when she comes in and the energy is so massive that I think I might have told you when she first started trying to connect with me, it was knocking me sideways. I couldn't get to that energy level with her to be able to communicate. It took a while to be able to do it. When she comes in now, she kills me here, but I know that she's around. She comes in. But I relate to her as a female, whether they're not, they're androgynous or whatever, I actually know, but I relate to her.
I feel like the ones I've seen are male energy more than, I don't feel the feminine in it.
Yeah, no, mine's more feminine.
What I get a lot is like the radio station. They have when they're around, they can't quite get to the radio, or me can't get to the radio station, like the level, I think. But then all of a sudden, I'll see one of them, and I was laying on the healing bed. This is my healing room for people who don't know me. I was laying on the bed, and my lovely friend Nikki was sending me healing, and she was in Tintagel. I live in about an hour and a half from there, so we hadn't seen each other. It was all verbal over the messengers. And I'm lying on the bed, and I thought, oh, I got a blue being in here, and he was all arms and legs, skinny, tall. Yeah. But he looked like he was, and I know it was a he. I didn't ask the name because, to be honest, I'd never seen a being like that before. So I didn't talk to him. I just felt, oh, what's this doing in here? Turquoise blue it was. And it was like he was dressed in latex, really. There was no clothes like we wear. It was just like this form.
Yeah.
But he was all gangly and he was walking around the bed. So I'd never asked her if she bloody sent him. So that was my first encounter with them. And that was quite a while ago now. But then Laurie paid for me to go. I told you this now.
Yeah.
She paid for me to go for healing for my birthday. And I was so determined because once I relaxed, they all start talking to me. And I'm saying to them, this is my time, not yours. You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to give me a message for Leanne. This is me. I'm cutting off now. End of radio silence. It's radio silence. I'm saying all this to them. And I've laid on the bed. And straight away, there's this being from, I don't know where he was from. I didn't ask him. I just knew he was a galactic. He was dressed with this black cloak and this big white front on it. And he's standing there like with an iPad, but it was all lit up. And it was like he was standing there taking notes. And I thought, well, that did a lot of good, didn't it? The only ones I didn't talk to was the galactics because I didn't think I could see them or get them.
Yeah.
And so that's the one I got because I told all the rest of them to clear off. But it was because the lady doing the healing obviously worked. She knew who this was I was talking about.
On that level, yeah.
Yeah. But her healing she was good. She used to jump. And then you'd be lying on the jump with her.
Yeah.
Because perhaps it was their energy she was using. But it was like he was taking notes. I could see him writing, but it was like he had his hand like that with a pad on it. Unless it was his hand, who bloody knows? You see
he was.
You see so much, don't you? I mean, I don't even think I saw his face. I just saw because I'm laying down and I've looked around like that and he was here. So I think that's, apart from when I told you I channeled the galactics the other day, well, a while ago now, because I was given the job by my lovely friend out in America telling me that I needed to open the portal to them. Because when I used to do the meditations in here, and Stuart always, he used to come, it was more towards the end when I was not doing it, after I'd stopped doing it more. I didn't do it so much because I did it every week for 3 years over COVID. And then I sort of stepped away from it. But those last few times I did it, Stuart used to talk to me about the Galactic Council, and he used to tell me he was on it, on the Galactic Council. So I didn't see anything, but I felt it. I felt the energy in the room. And going on to that one, I've been, because Carl I've got a lady that does healing for Carl distantly, and she invited me along to go and have healing because the energy of me and Carl, because I think Carl comes on that energy.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
So and because I'm there in the physical, and so we were sitting in a room, a very high room it was, and this was just after I channeled the galactic in here for that evening. And she looked at me, she went, June, has the energy changed in this room? And I said, yeah, because I knew it was Stuart. I knew I could feel him in the room. And I said to her, it's galactic energy, because it was so big. It was up in the rafters. It weren't really in the room. And I don't know about you, Trace, everything goes quiet. And you know that feeling like when it's going to snow? That's because I could feel it at the top.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, and it was so far down the room, but the rest of the room was different. So she said, I think I better get you on the bed, Jude, because she didn't know what to do with it. I went, it is the galactics. I don't know. I've never asked her if she's ever encountered them.
Yeah.
You know, because when you've only got a certain length of time, and she wanted to get me on the bed, but I had the most amazing experience that day. I don't know if I've told you this, but you're going to hear it now because it's angels and the galactics.
Yeah, together.
So Stu was there. They was obviously there. You could. It was palpable. It was them, their energy. So she's got me on the bed, and this day she didn't do hardly any healing. She just had this hand on this shoulder, and it was the most amazing, because it's the first time I'd seen an angel in the flesh. I felt like I was put, I'd say it was like tent material. It was cream. It was like somebody threw this tent over me, but not high, it was low. So I'm here and the tent was sort of there. And then all the inside of this tent went golden again.
Yeah.
And from the right hand side of the bed, the whatever that was lifted up, and this being came in. Like you said, you saw everything about the face, the skin, the hair.
Yeah.
But I thought, this is Stuart, because Stuart, look, he had those blue eyes, didn't he? And obviously they change when they go on. They look different. He's obviously not looking the same. So because it was fair and the blue eyes, and the skin was so like beautiful skin, this face came in under the tent, and he went that way over my face, and he was putting something in my mouth, like this energy into my mouth. So when it stopped, and Lizzie, we all come back to where we were, blown away. I'd never seen.
Michael, then did you think it was him again?
Yeah, it was Archangel Michael. Exactly, because Lizzie said to me, she said, June, I couldn't do the healing. This hand had to go on you, but this hand, she said, I was holding it and they was telling me it was the key. So what that key meant, because we didn't talk about it after that, because I had to go. So, because she had somebody else coming in. If I'd have had longer, we could have sat and talked about it.
Yeah.
But when I said to her, oh, I don't know if that was Stuart, she went, no, it wasn't June. She said, they told me it was Archangel Michael. But it was, I could see everything.
Yeah. You never forget it.
It was that close.
Yeah.
And this picture of him, because when you went to...
Yeah. Okay.
When you went to do your phone a little while ago, I just asked the cards and he jumped out the card. So he obviously wanted me to tell the story. But Trace, it was there.
Yeah.
Face come in like that. And when I talked about it afterwards with somebody that does what we do, she said, do you realise he came in under the veil? She said that what was over you, all of you, was the veil. And that made perfect sense. But I saw where he came from. He came from the right hand side and he came in, and I mean, how bloody blessed am I to see him like that? I don't know what was about the mouth. It was either putting in or taking out. I haven't told you that story since. But this all started with me going because of Carl. But I felt Stuart's energy in that room, so that's why I thought it was Stu. But obviously it wasn't. It was him. That maybe they was all there to support him coming in. But it was like they threw this sheet over me, and it was like tent material. But it was like somebody had lit it up golden. I mean, I'll never ever get over it to the day I die, ever, because.
That just brought back a memory for me with that, like thinking about that big energy. I remember once when I was doing Circle, and I was holding it in Chelmsford and that, and some of the ladies might be watching this anyway, come in, but a big being come in, and the energy filled the room. It was so massive, and I hadn't experienced like that type of energy coming in before. Felt a bit nervous.
Yeah, it is.
My God, I don't know what to do with this. Let's just hope it's good.
Yeah.
But they gave the name Z, and I was looking it up and researching it, but Zaki is my one's name.
Yes.
So I reckon she's coming in. She probably popped in and out over periods of time,
Yes.
but it wasn't of that energy to be able to work with her even back then. But the energy just filled the room. Everybody felt it, and everyone was like, what are we going to do? That sort of thing.
It's just
amazing.
You can't explain it, can you?
No.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to you before about when Charlie had that accident.
Yeah.
And I've always seen Grandad, but I couldn't tell, you know, and he used to freak that I'd even seen my dad. Because we didn't talk, you know, I never told him what I got or stuff. I just didn't, because I knew his family weren't like mine. So, but when Grandad used to be there all the time, I did talk about it. So when that angel came that night, and I reckon it was Charlie's guardian angel, it filled the room. I was laying in bed, I couldn't breathe for it because it was so big. And I told him it was Grandad. It turned up, but I knew it wasn't. I knew that I didn't see it, I felt it. And that's that night he had that terrible accident. And that's why I think it might have been his guardian angel, because he was saved. I mean, he came out with a scratch there above his eyebrow. Yeah. Shaken. I mean, who wouldn't be shaken? Because it was a big accident. But I think that's what that was.
Basically, didn't he, from it?
Yeah, he did. If I saw that lorry, there was nothing left. Nothing. No roof, no windows. And it wasn't like a little lorry, it was massive. It was like it pulled containers. Yeah, it was big. So how he ever walked away from that?
That must have been his guardian angel, because they're the ones that step in, aren't they, between the life and death scenarios. Yeah.
And because we hadn't really talked, I'd never said to him, oh, I used to see this, or I got that, or he just, I think he just accepted.
Yeah, we get used to it.
You know? So we didn't actually talk about it, but that he rang from the first time, because it was then, in them days, it was phone boxes. And I don't know where they took him. I don't know if they took him in an ambulance. To be honest, I can't remember. It's too long ago. Yeah. But when he got to a phone, the first thing he said to me was, if you see your dad again, I'm not going to work. So it obviously made an impression.
Yeah, made an impact on him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't dare say anything now about us, does he?
No. He just goes along with all of it now. Oh,
yeah.
so
Just wonders
so
about
many...
the teeth, don't they? Bless him.
Yeah, he does. There's so many stories though, Tracie. I mean, while we're talking, there's so many coming up.
Yeah, it does. It jogs your memory, doesn't it? And you start remembering the
other. To be honest, when you asked me to do this today, I thought, oh, I better get back early and start writing stuff to remember. But you don't need to, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying to one of my friends the other day, like we get on and we just do this and we have a chat and we're talking like we normally do talk about all sorts of stuff. And I said, thank God it just flows, because I have no clue how to edit this.
No,
because it's whatever's on here is on here. That's it.
Yeah, you got
so
it.
Coming off.
The cold facts. I've got another lovely story about Stuart, actually. Yeah. So when I started the healing, and I used to have my healing bed in that front bedroom, behind the kitchen indoors. Yeah. And the girls you know, the girls, so I don't know if you've met some of them. Sarah came and had healing. And she was laying on the bed, and I was standing this side of the bed, looking that way, and I saw Stuart in the corner with wings. And I thought, now you've cracked, because Stuart wasn't, he's lovely, but he weren't an angel when he was here. I mean, I saw him with these big white wings standing in the corner. I think I'm having a funny attack here. And I shut my eyes, looked, I was still standing there. Sarah was lying on the bed, and she sat bolt upright. She went, and your boy got a lovely pair of wings. I went, what, you can see? She said, yeah, he's standing there. I went, really? Yeah, she saw it completely.
Yeah.
And when she was always going through, like if she was going through a tough time, Sarah, she used to say to me, you know, he used to come and look, I'd see him like that after she'd seen him in that room. So I don't think that for me that day, for me to see it, I did see it. I think it was for her.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How they can just,
yeah, and she wasn't
when needed.
really. I mean, there was no way she wasn't practicing to do any of this. It the stuff for her just happened, if you like. She just I've got so many stories. The first night I met her, I don't know, we're doing time, Trace. So the lady that I inherited the group from said to me, you need to meet Sarah. She's a hairdresser. And I thought, oh, great, she comes home, I ain't got to go to the hairdressers. Because leaving Essex, you have your own people that
do your stuff,
And Sarah is the nicest, loveliest girl. Anyway, I rang her. She said, I'm really sorry, I can't do your hair. I've hurt me back, I've had twins, and I've been in a wheelchair. My mum's been here, and she said, what I'll do is when I feel better, I'll ring you. So she rang, and it was Christmas time. Saturday night, she went, I'm feeling better, do you want to come round? I'd never clapped eyes on her. She'd not even looked at my hair, and my hair's weird, it's thin and all the rest of it. Anyway, so she said, if you come at 7 o'clock, I'll leave the back door open, just walk in. I went, okay, it's typical Devon, you know. Anyway, I've gone there, and they got in there, and she's lying over the cooker. I went, what's the matter? She went, my back's gone again. So you ain't touching my hair. Let's go. Let's have a cup of tea. So I've gone and sat in the front room, and you know, because you're a healer, you know, because you do the healing, and she'd never met me, I'd never met her, so she's sitting next to me, and because she's upset about her back, obviously, so I put my hand on her back, and she went, and I felt it move. I felt the click. She went, what did you do? I went, oh, I'm really sorry about that. I do a bit of healing. She went, oh my God. She said, it feels better. She said, quick, let's do your hair. Cut my hair. And then I'm sitting there having the haircut, and this lady, like from Spirit, is standing in front of me. I said, Sarah, I've got a lady standing here in front of me. Don't forget, she don't know me from Adam, Sarah. I said, she's looking at me. She's got hair like mine, and she's showing me her handbag and her shoes. I said, what's all that about? She went, oh, blimey, it's my Aunt Nell. She said, my Aunt Nell had hair like yours, and she used to love having her hair done. And I said, but she's standing in this golden glow. She went, well, she lived in Spain. So all this is going on. And then at the time, we were thinking of moving back to Essex because we hadn't done this house up then. And she got messages from me. She went, Aunt Nell's telling me, don't you go back to Essex. I went, what? I said, do you do this stuff? She went, no, don't know what it's about. It was off the scale. So I phoned Charlie and said, I'm going to be a bit late. He said, yeah, what's new? You know, he's used to it. And anyway, I said, I'm just going to have another cup of tea and sit here and talk to Sarah. So have another cup of tea. Bang, upstairs, there was an almighty bang. And I didn't know she had just moved into this house. So she said, oh, one of the kids, like she had Luke, who was about 3, and the babies. So she's gone upstairs. She thought the kids had fell out of bed. She's come down the stairs. She went, June, I'm really frightened. There's nothing up there. So I've gone upstairs, and I've never done this before. I've walked in her bedroom, and I said to her, do you know who lived here before, Sarah? She went, no, I've got no idea. There's a man standing over there. So all of a sudden, and I don't know what to do with this stuff. It's not like it was obviously being given to me. I'm standing at the end of her bed saying the Lord's Prayer. And as I'm saying it, he's walked down the side of the bed, across the bottom of the bed. He's passed and looked at me.
Yeah.
And as I've looked at the door,
Yeah.
it was a swirl of light. And I thought, I'm sending him to the light.
Yeah, sending home.
So he went home.
Yeah.
But what we didn't, because Sarah said to me, when I put Luke in the bath while I see to the twins, and he's in there talking to somebody. And I used to say to him, who are you talking to, Luke? And he'd go, that man.
Yeah.
She said, oh, much. She's phoning up. She went, June, I can't believe it. Luke won't sleep.
Yeah, that's
it.
it.
He's afraid.
The kids, yeah.
So we got Luke into crystals.
Yeah.
So there was all this. This was my first encounter of meeting Sarah. So after that night, it was bloody 12 o'clock. You know what it's like down here? There's not a street light inside. Yeah. So she's put all the outside lights on, and I've got the car, turn it round, come back to say goodbye. She's standing in the middle of South Milton. It's the village opposite. She's gone, I'm going to do cartwheels now.
Oh, my days.
I said, cool, blimey, all for the price of haircut. I've done your back.
She didn't
now. And I bloody sent you ghost home.
Oh, did I tell you? Did you see my post the other day? My landlord come round to fix the leak under the sink.
Oh,
did you see it? Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, like whenever you mention there's a problem, I'd left it a couple of days, so I wanted to check what was going on with it. Anyway, he turned up to fix it, and while he was standing, he goes, good job you noticed this. I went, yeah, I had a dream about it. He went, did you? I went, yeah. No, he said to me, really? I went, yeah. And I felt he had his back to me, and he all tensed up, and I thought to myself, oh, perhaps I shouldn't have said that. And he looked around at me, I said, yeah, I'm psychic, and I just laughed. Do you know what? Turns out he's a Reiki master.
No.
Yeah. He's into all spiritual stuff and everything. And we had a chat for about half an hour about all sorts of things and all that. And he went to me, I should have known by the eyes. But he's very tall and got blue eyes. So, and he said, you would never know from me, would you? And I said, actually, I wouldn't. I never picked it up in any slight shape or form. Just
wow.
How can you make that up?
You can't, can you?
But that's another reason probably why I am where I am. They sent me to his place because he does what he does. But there's been someone, I was saying to you, someone keeps turning up in there when we're doing our work and everything. Yeah. The other day, I literally see an eyeball. I was like, oh, really? I was like, it comes past me, just an eyeball like this, an eye. I was like, really? Yeah. And then this thing starts to materialise in the living room. I don't see it properly, but I could sort of see this hazy thing. And I think, who are you? Where do you come from? Where's this thing come from?
Do you not know who it is, Trace?
No, because it's such an old building, you probably a random. Random come in, have a little look. What am I doing now? His eye. I have to laugh. I just think, how much can it see? Looking at me with this one eye. Oh, my life. Does it get any worse?
Oh dear.
It's funny because before we had our chat the other week, and I said to you, like, we both got ready, didn't we? And then I was in the bedroom, and all of a sudden this like orb thing come right past my mirror as I was getting. It looked a bit like an eye, but I didn't really think that it was. I thought I'm imagining things, you know, like you do. It just went past. I remember I said to you, this orb went like.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, it did sort of look like an eye, but I reckon it's whoever this one person.
Yeah.
I will have to tune in and find out who it is or what they want or whatever. But sometimes I have to sling them out because it's an older building and it was used for like during the war and a nursing home. Oh. It's got a lot of stuff that's gone on there, so there's always something about. So I tend to have to like, excuse me.
A bit like Santa was when we had the hotel.
Yeah.
That was all different things.
Yeah, I had a monk at the end of my bed in that place.
Did you?
Mm. Clear as anything, as clear as a person standing there. Couldn't see a face, as I think about as he stands in like that. It's a big monk standing at the end.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, you know, actually,
was it a street at some point or something?
It was before it became a hotel. It was Father something. I can't remember. I think he was from Portugal. Father something, and it was called Faith House in those days. And I think because he was like a priest, they called him a priest, but he could have been a monk. But he used to take in all the down and outs. So we're talking about in the 60s. No, it wasn't the 60s, about the 70s. Because we bought it in the 90s. And Morris had that for 20 odd years. So he bought it off this father. Right. They called him Father Pereira or something. He had a funny name. I've got nobody to ask that now because they've.
I was going to say, can you get the history back down? I thought I told you that I had the monk there.
No, because I used to see there was a man. There was always he was an airman, and he used to sit in the lounge wasn't there in them days, but I used to see him sitting in the corner of the lounge, and he had, I don't know if he had only one leg or both legs gone. I think he only had one leg. So when we moved in, Carl slept in the hotel. He only slept there one night. He was shouting at me, calling me in the night. He said, "Tell them nuns to stop rubbing my legs."
Sounds funny now, probably not at the time, yeah.
the nuns used to run it as I don't know if they was there when the soldiers were there to be looked after.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw it, there was a shrine in the garden.
Yeah.
So that was for the nuns. I put Mother Mary in there, and everybody used to come and light candles. So that was probably to do with the nuns. But they was rubbing Carl's legs, thinking, I think, that he was that airman that needed his legs rubbed. So that's why Carl slept over in that other building. He would not sleep in there ever again.
I see. Could do for rub down every now and again, couldn't you?
So he was really seeing the nuns in them, and I didn't know that. I didn't put the nuns with it in them days at the beginning, but afterwards, that's when this guy sitting in the lounge with the one leg, and he used to be sitting there. He sat there every night. Every time I went in there, he was
waiting for his tea.
Oh, bonkers, isn't it?
Oh no, it's madness, this world, isn't it? Well, we've been on here for an hour now. We're over an hour. So
right.
we really probably get off because
get off. I'll save the other stories for later.
We'll come back next week and tell you some more of our stories or whatever subject we want to talk about next time. So thank you everyone if you stayed with us this long. We appreciate it. And again, please like our channel and follow it, or whatever you do with these things. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you again.
Thanks, Trace.
Yeah. See you later.
Lovely to see everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.